How do you know if you need a premarital consultation? Everyone wants to have healthy relationship, loving and caring relationship, but how do you know that you are ready to make this commitment? Also another question you're gonna ask. How do you know is that the person you have chosen, it's the right person for you, suitable for you, and also equally committed like you to build a healthy relationship? Because very often we find out things about our partner's personality and sometimes even personal history, yes, the past, when we already staying together and even having kids together. And then we find out ourselves in this difficult situation, then we have to make difficult decision. Are we going to break up? That's very difficult and painful. Or we have to remain together. Also can be very challenging and very draining. So to avoid this situation, when we have to make difficult decision of choosing which of these two evils is the less, that's where premarital consultation can be useful. But the question is still, how do you know that right now you really need this external assistance? Yeah, you could say it's good, but why not I invest my resources, very valuable and limited resources, somewhere else? Maybe I should go for yoga classes. Maybe I should start going to gym. So how do you know that right now, in this moment, this consultation, it's what you need the most? And to answer this question, instead of giving you now the whole lecture on psychology of relationship, I'm going to tell you a story of my most recent client. It might be a long video, but you got to understand this is a serious matter, so we have to give it all the attention that it deserves. So my client came to me, she wanted to find out, is she stuck in a toxic, unhealthy relationship? And I'm going to share the story with her permission. I have sent her this video first, she watched it and she gave me an approval to share it further with you. I'm not gonna give any personal details which could make it possible to identify her, but what I want you to hear the story, and then you can ask yourself, can you relate to some of these problems? Those problems that my clients was facing. And if you find that this story actually resonates with you, well, you can let me know by giving it a like, so I would know this is the topic which needs explanation most. Then I'll make more videos about it. Why? Well, I understand that not everyone can afford to schedule sessions with me. Some people can afford, but they don't have time, busy schedules. Someone might have time, someone might have money, but no energy, because you have to be present, you have to be focused during consultation. In case you did not know, I'm not doing talk therapy. What I'm doing, nafsa-pathology. This is a very intense work, working with emotions, so people end up crying, sweating, even feeling pain in the body. Well, I don't think anything will happen right now, anything like this while you're watching this video. So the video is not a replacement for emotional work we do during consultation, but at least perhaps you will understand why certain things in your life, they go this way. And if you understand that, slightly increases your chances to avoid toxic relationship and find the right person and create your own happy family. So let's start talking about the client story and what we can learn from it. So let me start with the initial request that I've received before scheduling a session. So client says she is, and I'm quoting now, she's feeling frustrated with the long distance relationship. She's thinking she might be stuck in a toxic relationship. So she scheduled, here is a consultation. I want to find out what's going on. Right now I'm going to give very minimum information about the client, who she is. This is a young lady in her 20s from Africa, but not from South Africa. And currently she is pursuing her higher education, certain institution, doesn't matter, can be college, can be university, doesn't matter where and what it is. Why I'm mentioning that, specifically the age, because in most cases, people who come to me, they are mostly in their 30s, 40s, 50s and above, and often in that age and in that situation, they're trying to do more of a damage control. So they're actually preventing things from getting worse, not preventing bad things to happen. Well, that was very happy for me. I was very happy to see as a practitioner that we are doing something preventative, and spoiler, client was rewarded at the end for her courage to seek external assistance. And then when we have started the session, I did my usual procedure. I don't ask too many personal questions. Sometimes I have to stop my clients, interrupt them and say, look, I don't need this information. No. Why? Because you see, this is narcopathology, this is not psychotherapy. Here we are not trying to understand the situation together or understand other person or trying to come up with a decision what the client is supposed to do. Why? Because I think, and that's my belief, we all can see the situation, we all can understand situation, we even can see other people, and we already know what to do. Just that, what happens is that our emotions, they blind us. We cannot see very obvious things. But now once we work with these emotions, now we can see the right things, we can do the right things, and we can have a happy life. That's it. I'm proud to say in narcopathology we can get results very quickly because I don't need to hear all your biography for us to start working. So I don't need your biography. What do I need? First, I need a problem statement. What is the problem that we are working on, something we want to solve? Now, this initial request, am I in a toxic relationship? Yes or no? That's unclear because I can't say yes you are, no you are not. Every person must decide for themselves what is toxic and what is healthy. So I asked few very simple questions. I need very basic information. Are you together? Are you married? So things like that. And the situation is, no, we're not married, but it is going towards the marriage. We are not physically together, and right now he is in another country, doesn't matter which country it is. But in that situation, I feel like he does not care. Sometimes he won't even send me a message and things like that. Now, that moment when I heard the expression, I feel like he does not care, well, I thought to myself, okay, this is something we can work with. I feel. Because certain things I cannot do. I cannot turn that prospective partner into a loving husband. No, that's beyond my capacity. Also, I cannot tell you, please wait for him, just wait for him, be patient with him. And also I cannot say, no, don't waste your time, just go find someone else who will actually care about you and you feel that you're loved. Because if I would give any advice like that, that would be me taking responsibility for your life choices. And it's only you who can decide what to do in your life and with your life. And by the way, here, I want to make a very quick side note. If you will ask others for their advice, what to do in a similar situation, you should know. Everyone will start advising you, but not what they think is the right thing for you to do in this situation. No. They will be telling you to do something that would prove to them that they are okay and they live their life correctly. So if, let's say, for the sake of argument, you have a person who in a very similar situation, he or she breaks up relationship and then right now suffering from loneliness, the person will tell you what? Break up. Because imagine you don't break up and later you will become a good couple. That person will be so hurt just by seeing and thinking that it is her fault or it's his fault being lonely because he or she should not have broken up all those relationships. So you see, that person, when he or she was giving you this advice, the advice is given to protect them from emotional pain, not to help you. And also, other way around, you can imagine a person currently in abusive relationship. He or she will tell you what? Be patient. Why? Also not to help you to resolve your problem, but to validate his or to validate her own suffering. Because when he or she is advising you to be patient, actually the person is talking to himself or to herself, not to you, because they're trying to convince themselves that they, back then, made the right decision to stay and suffer in abusive relationship. So once again, that's why I'm not going to advise you anything. I'm helping you to work with your emotions. And then once you work with them, you can see things clearly and then you can do the right thing. But let's get back to our client. So we have this statement, I feel like he does not care about me. This is the problem, feel. So what I have done, I've asked few follow-up questions and then we set up our initial goal as jealousy. And jealousy means feeling unsure about the partner, and then the client was comparing herself with his ex because he mentioned his ex and things like this. Now here, when it comes to jealousy, what's a jealousy? Jealousy is a feeling which, thing number one, uncomfortable, right, enough. Second thing, preventing us from seeing things clearly. If one partner is jealous without valid reasons, it can destroy a relationship even when the other partner is loyal and not even intending, not even thinking about cheating. And also, this same jealousy can prevent us from getting out of toxic relationship, because that jealous person who is suffering from jealousy will say, I cannot imagine seeing or meeting my partner with another person. Let him abuse me, disrespect me. I'm gonna rather stay in toxic relationship than, let's say, seeing him with another woman. So jealousy, uncomfortable and limiting, debilitating feeling, we can work with it. Then, of course, I started asking more questions. At what moment you feel you are jealous the most? Now, the moment I start going the direction, I realize that we cannot work with jealousy. Why not? Because client said she felt mostly jealous when they were meeting, and in the meeting he would mention his ex. And because currently they are together, as I mentioned, communication very limited, sometimes not even a message, so we cannot bring that situation up. And then we cannot know this consultation, did it make any difference or not? Because if, let's say, there would be communication, let's say they would be married, staying together, I could say, well, next time you're having a conversation, ask him, husband, tell me about your ex. Now you see, are you still feeling jealous? But because we cannot do it, that means that we cannot know, is this consultation has made any difference? Again, narcissispathology. We need to set a clear goal and a clear criteria. How do we know that we have achieved this goal? What would be possible? If, let's say, they would be married and she would say, I feel jealous every time he goes to work because I start imagining him flirting with other women and then cheating on me. Yes, we can work with that. I could say, great, tomorrow morning your husband going to go for a walk. Give me a feedback after the session. So in a nutshell, that's how we spend the first 30 minutes of the consultation. Now I start feeling in that moment we are now going circles. Why? Because we need an emotion we can work on and we can resolve it. And then we can see that yes, it was resolved. Same situation, but I'm feeling better. So I came up with a suggestion. I thought to myself, if we cannot work with the feeling during their communication, let's find out what are there, or are there any uncomfortable feelings in the absence of communication. We got to something more specific, which is fear of abandonment. Now here we have a specific situation. My clients, let's say, wakes up in the morning, she checks her phone, sees no message from him. Now she is scared, she is afraid, she has fears that he will break up with her. Now these thoughts, these fears, they create a problem because now she cannot focus on her studies. Wow, now we have a realistic goal, because right now we're going to be solving a real life problem, which is you should be able to focus on your studies, but you cannot. And also we are working with a feeling of fear of abandonment. And now we also can have a situation that we can actually reproduce and see if there is any difference or not. So what I've done, I told my client, and it was half jokingly, half serious, let's hope after the session he is not going to send you any messages. So we could actually check and see a real life test, and then you can give me a feedback. So we have set up a goal for our emotional work, which is to feel calm, to feel relaxed, even if there is no message from him. Because now when you calm, when you're relaxed, you can make better decision how to go about this situation. So we started working and we found a childhood trauma. And here normally we get to the trauma right at the first session, because I don't like wasting time. Where they like wasting time is in mainstream psychotherapy. That's where they're gonna keep clients coming again and again. That's their way they walk in circles, basically wasting clients' time and clients' money. So back to our client, what we found out, childhood trauma, very young age, 6-7 years old, father has left the family. Now, and that's the most important is not what happened, how it was understood, because the interpretation of events is more important than the events itself. And the client, being a child, she has taken it personally. She, you could say unconsciously, on emotional level, made a decision that she does not deserve love. And specific quote came up, "I am a loser." Now you can imagine, you have such negative belief about yourself. If that's the case, it's practically impossible to have happy relationship. What's gonna happen is, you will either, first scenario, you find someone who will be abusing you, and the moment you're trying to protect your boundaries, the person will say, "I'm going to break up with you." Now you see you're threatened, you cannot protect yourself. Or, let's say you are lucky and you found a good person, not an abuser. You will start abusing him. You will start accusing him and cheating. You're gonna start spying over him. You're going to be creating conflicts for no reason, man. If the person is healthy, person will send one day, "I had enough, relationship is over." And where all it comes from? From the childhood trauma. All from the fear of being abandoned. And people, they gonna go through their lives like that, and they gonna be wondering why their relationship's not working. And the problem is not with the other people, the problem is with you. Because you are pushing away all the good partners and attracting to yourself all those abusers and all those unstable character. So that was the outcome of the first session. What we have done, we set up a realistic and clearly defined goal. Then we found the trauma, and then we found the negative belief that came out of it. Well, I would say that's not bad for 1 hour, huh? Well, in Arabic we say Alhamdulillah wa shukrulillah. All thanks and all praise belongs to Allah. Next day, then we had a second session. Then it was all very easy for me, at least, because I know exactly what we're working on. And the first thing that we started working, that's the feeling and attached negative belief, something is not okay with my character. We worked with it and then we resolved it. That's number one. Second thing, we worked on that fear of breakup and that negative belief related to it, which is, and this is a quote, "I am a loser." Now you see, this is how social aspect of being not okay comes in. Now this is about how other people see you. So now you see, in the client's mind, there is a clear connection. In childhood, everyone has father, but I don't have. In adulthood, everyone has a partner, I don't have. Well, now you can see it's no wonder why you have a fear of abandonment and you have fear of breakup. So what we have done, we worked with all of that, and that part of work, that produced the strongest emotional response, because clients started crying. That was quite a thing to process. So now it looks like this social aspect, this negative self-identification that I am the loser, it appears to be, it was the strongest one. And then we went into entirely different direction, because the next thing came up, that was loneliness. The client says, after breakup, I'm scared of being lonely. So we also, what we've done, we tracked this loneliness, or rather fear of loneliness, back to childhood. Everyone has a father, I don't have. And then we worked with that loneliness. Then we went to realization. It's okay to be on your own. It is safe. Feeling lonely is okay. Yes, it's unpleasant feeling. But this unpleasant feeling, it motivates you to find and establish meaningful relationship. But that relationship you're looking for, it should be healthy. Otherwise, you're going to get hurt. So think of it like a hunger. Is it unpleasant feeling? Yes, it is. But if you're hungry, you're looking for food, you don't just eat anything. Sometimes you have to be a bit patient and wait for some time. But imagine you think that hunger is dangerous. You're going to end up hurting yourself by eating something which is poisonous. In a relationship, they will say toxic. So we worked on that feeling, and what we have done, we have modified and changed that. We had initial belief. I am not okay alone. I can only become okay when I am with someone, and we changed it to I am okay on my own. When I will find someone who is good for me, I'm going to become even better. So what happens if we don't change those beliefs? Well, that means this is neurosis. That's exactly what neurosis looks like. It's like a jail. You cannot go outside because the door is locked, but you also cannot stay inside because you're suffering. So you see, in a relationship, you feel like the other person doesn't care, not sending messages, whatever. So you are suffering. Now you're thinking, he's talking to someone else, he does not care, he's cheating on you. But also, you're scared to talk about it, you cannot get out of it. Because you're scared. You're scared of breakup, you're scared that everyone will say, look at you, you are a loser. So this is neurosis. We built our own prison and we suffer inside and we don't allow ourselves to get out of it. And another thing which I didn't mention yet, yes, pathology, it's a faith-based approach. But you see, what we're doing here, this is not what they would call religious counseling. Because we are not trying to solve the emotional problems rationally. Imagine I would start quoting scriptures. And I am a Muslim, I'm working with a Muslim. If I start quoting Quran and I'm going to give a whole lecture what healthy relationship should be, that means I'm not doing my job. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Actually, very often, we need to get better emotionally first. And then we can become better believers. We could become better religiously speaking. So we worked with all of that. First session was on Saturday, second session was on Sunday. On Monday, I was expecting a feedback. Like I mentioned earlier, you go to your phone, you don't see any messages. How do you feel? You still feel scared of breakup? You have worries, suspicions he might be cheating? Yeah, I'm getting a feedback and I'm going to give you a quote. I was open to talk to him. I told him my feelings, I told him my thoughts, and I'm not afraid anymore. I broke up with him, yep, I broke up with him, and I feel nothing. And another quote, I feel free, I'm breathing, and I'm feeling okay. So, and then of course I asked, so you happy with the outcome of this session? You happy with your emotional state? And the answer was, yes, alhamdulillah. So, as they say, case closed, problem solved, or as they say, done and dusted. Well, I'm honestly afraid to imagine if the client of mine would have chosen to go to mainstream psychotherapy or some mainstream psychology. I don't know how much time, how much money they would have wasted. For us, it took 2 hours of time. Well, if my client would be from South Africa, it would cost her 1,000 rand in total for 2 sessions. In international currency, it's something like $50 now. You can ask yourself, was it worth it? In marketing, they would say, now you, Karim, you're supposed to say that check the description of the video, here is the link to schedule appointment, here is the link to learn pathology, become a practitioner yourself. But right now I don't feel like doing any sales. I'm just gonna say, if while you were watching this video, you were listening to my client's story, you could relate to it, something which I have said when I explained what's going on, it's resonated with you, well, most probably, maybe you would benefit from a consultation. But if you listen to it and you were like, what's going on, what kind of nonsense, what kind of problem people can have, then most probably emotional well-being and consultation on this topic is not for you. So if you found this topic of relationship psychology interesting to hear, please let me know, give it a like, leave a comment, because I got quite a few more things to share on this topic. See you in the next video.